Chosen one. Pause. Not the careless kind of pause, not the distracted kind, but the kind of pause that happens when something unseen enters the room and the air itself seems to listen. Because something did. This morning may have looked ordinary. The same sunlight through the window, the same thoughts lingering from yesterday, the same responsibilities waiting quietly in the background. Yet while you were waking up, while your mind was still gathering itself, while your hands reached for the familiar routine of the day, a movement occurred beyond your sight. A decision was recorded, and somewhere within the quiet architecture of heaven, your situation was addressed. Your name was spoken, and a messenger was released. Not because you shouted the loudest, not because fear forced heaven's hand, but because the weight you have been carrying has reached the point where endurance has done its work. This is not spectacle. This is timing. Stay with me. Have you noticed the shift? Something subtle, almost easy to ignore. Where anxiety once gripped your chest, there is now a quiet steadiness. The problems have not vanished, yet they no longer dominate the room of your mind. That is not denial. That is assistance. Heaven rarely announces its help with thunder. True intervention arrives differently. It moves like structure being restored to a fragile building, silent, precise, steady. You do not see the hands. You simply feel the pressure ease. Because messengers of heaven are not sent to attract attention. They are sent to create movement. Understand something. Heaven does not respond to panic. It responds to alignment. For weeks, perhaps longer, you have been making choices that few people witnessed. You chose restraint when reaction would have been easier. You chose patience when anger tried to claim the moment. You chose reflection when noise invited you to argue. You thought those quiet decisions disappeared into the void. They did not. Endurance is measured, even when no human eyes are watching. And when endurance matures into stability, assistance is released. This assignment was not emotional, it was strategic. Even now, movements are unfolding beyond your visibility. Conversations are slowly changing direction. Decisions you cannot influence are being reconsidered. Resistance that once stood firm is beginning to soften. Delays that frustrated you are being rearranged. This is not magic, it is management. The kind that happens beyond the limits of human perception. But listen carefully. Heaven's help does not replace your effort, it strengthens it. The messenger assigned to your path guards doors you cannot see, closes roads that would have led you toward regret, and adjusts timing in ways that protect your future momentum. Because timing matters. There are seasons where struggle is necessary, moments where pressure shapes character. But there is also a boundary, and when a lesson has completed its work, heaven does not stretch the burden any further. Strength is never meant to become suffering without purpose. And today marks a quiet transition from endurance to assistance. Now remain grounded. This does not mean every difficulty disappears overnight. Angelic support does not create instant perfection. What it creates is momentum. Situations begin to shift without confrontation. Doors align without force. Tension fades without dramatic explanation. Chaos does not explode outward. Instead, it dissolves, quietly, almost invisibly. Because if you had known help was coming sooner, you might have relaxed before your character was ready. If reassurance had arrived too early, growth might have been interrupted. So heaven waited, until your faith could stand without constant confirmation, until your actions remained steady even when answers were delayed. That maturity opened the door. Now, watch your environment carefully. The tension around certain conversations will begin to weaken. The heavy thoughts that used to circle your mind at night will start to lose their grip. The endless overthinking will gradually quiet. Because when heaven sends help, the atmosphere changes first. Circumstances follow later. Do not mistake this for favoritism. This is not about being greater than others. It is about being prepared for something that requires protection. Your next chapter demands clarity. Clarity requires guarding, and guarding requires assistance. Which means you are no longer standing alone in this moment. But hear this warning. Do not allow the presence of support to make you careless. Do not rush simply because movement has begun. Walk the same disciplined path that brought you here. Stay aligned. Choose patience over pride. Choose wisdom over impulse. Angelic help works best with those who remain steady. And the first sign you will notice is not opportunity, it is peace. Peace while uncertainty still exists. Peace while answers are still forming. Peace while waiting continues. That quiet calm inside your spirit is confirmation. Because when heaven intervenes, the storm inside you is silenced before the storm around you changes. Chosen one, you are not navigating this moment alone. Something has been sent in your direction. You may never see wings, you may never hear footsteps, but you will notice the alignment. Obstacles that once refused to move will step aside. Confusion will begin to clear, and strength will return in places that once felt exhausted. So move carefully, think clearly, rest with confidence. Because sometime this morning, without announcement, without spectacle, without noise, heaven assigned help to your situation, and the weight that pressed on your shoulders yesterday will not carry the same power tomorrow. Stay aware. The distance between heaven and your life is far smaller than you were led to believe. Much smaller.